Hey guys, welcome back to Essie.Crochets. Today we're making the classic granny square. This is honestly one of the most iconic crochet projects ever, and once you know how to make it, you can turn it into literally anything. Bags, blankets, coasters, you name it. So let's grab our hook and yarn and let's get into it. Before we begin, here's what you'll need. We need yarn. I'm using cotton yarn because the stitches are very defined on it. You will need a hook, obviously. Make sure that the hook you use matches whatever the yarn requires. And I would check the yarn label on the yarn to make sure that you're using the right hook size for this. I'm using a 3.25 here. You also need some scissors and a darning needle to even your ends at the end. So for round one, we will start by making a magic ring. So let's do that. Wrap my yarn around my index and middle finger until it creates an X at the back. Continue wrapping and hold it with the starting yarn. And now I have these two stripes on my fingers here. I'm gonna go under the first one and grab the second one with my hook. Twist, grab the working yarn and pull through. And here it is. I have my magic ring. And now we need to go up to start creating our double crochets. So we can either chain 3 or create a chainless double crochet, which is my preferred method because I don't like chaining 3. So I'm gonna increase my loop and create a chainless double crochet. I have a tutorial for how to create one or how to work chainless double crochets, so make sure to check that out. I will leave the link in the description. And now we have one double crochet here, so we will create 2 more. 1, 2, and then we will, after we have 3 double crochets in the magic ring, we will chain 2. 1, 2. This actually creates your first corner, the chain 2s. So now let's repeat that. So yarn over, insert into the ring and create a double crochet, and then create 2 more. 1, 2. And then we want to create our next corner, so chain 2, and then the same thing, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And then chain 2 to create our corner, and then same thing one more time. 1, 2, and 3. So now we have 4 groups of chain 3s. Don't forget and then chain 2. So now we have 4 groups of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means we have our 4 edges. And also don't forget to chain 2 at the end after the last 3 double crochets, because that's gonna be the 4th corner. We're gonna close our magic circle and we will slip stitch on the top of the first double crochet. And as you can see here, we have a tiny square that is the beginning of our granny square. And now we want to go up to the next, to start creating the next row. The problem here is that I am at this corner and I want to be at this corner. So there are 2 ways to do this. You can either turn your square and work this way, going back, or you can slip stitch until you get to the next corner. So we will slip stitch to get to the next corner because I prefer all my stitches facing one side, because this is the right side, this is the wrong side. If I turn it and work the other way around, some of it will be the back of the stitches and some of them will be the front, so I don't like that. So here I am at the next corner. What I will do is again create a chainless double crochet and 2 more. 1, 2. So now I have 3 double crochets. And then since we're in the corner, we will be creating another corner. So from now on, this will be how you create corners. So it's going to be 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So let's do the chain 2 and then yarn over. In the same space, insert your hook and create 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then in order to get to the other side, we will chain 1 between the corners. So right on top of those 3, we'll just chain 1. And then in the next corner, create another corner, which is again 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 2, 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And we want to get to the next corner, so we will chain 1, and then same thing, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. And then chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now we want to work our last corner, so we'll chain 1 to get to that corner, and then work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And now instead of just slip stitching in the top of the next one, we will still need to do the chain 1 first and then slip stitch in the first double crochet. So let's slip stitch, and here we go. This is basically round 2 done. We still have our 4 corners, and now we have those chain 1 spaces. Those are going to be our sides, the sides of the square. Now again, we want to go to the next corner, but we have those 3 double crochets in the middle. So one more time, if you're flipping your square, you'll basically flip and work right here, but that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna slip stitch to get to the corner. 1, 2. Now I'm in the corner, and then again we work 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in each corner. So I will do a chainless double crochet, kind of count as my first double crochet, and then 2, 3. That's the first half of my corner, and then I am gonna chain 2 and then 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm gonna chain 1. And then now we're in this chain 1 space. And for the chain 1 space, we will be working just 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And we will still chain 1. This creates the sides for us, so every time you will have double the amount of chain 1 spaces, more than the row before you. So at the corner, I will create my next corner. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2, 1, 2, 3. And this is what I wanted to show you. In the previous row, on the first row, we didn't have any chain 1 spaces. And then on the second one, we had 1 space. And on the third one, we have 2. So every time you keep going, those chain 1 spaces are going to increase by 2. Oops, and now chain 1 and just keep going. Work 3 double crochets in the chain 1 spaces, then chain 1, and in the corners we will work 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1. And this is the first half of my corner. That's chain 2, and then 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 1. Don't forget the chain 1, because this is what creates our sides. It helps the square lay flat. We're on the chain 1 space. I'm working 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then I'm at the last corner, so I will work another corner. 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 1. Now I'm at the last space, which is a chain 1, and I'll work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 1, and then slip stitch in the top of that first double crochet. And that's really it for the classic granny square, which is worked in granny stitches. One thing I'll say is if you keep going this way, which is anti-clockwise, not turning, if you keep going and you don't turn or flip your square, sometimes it will start like tilting or kind of looking weird, but I always just block it and it turns out fine. Like, see, if I stretch it now, it still looks like a square. And you also have the front of your stitches showing, so it's not like some stitches are back stitches and some stitches are front stitches, basically is what I'm trying to say. And so basically you keep working around every row. You either chain 3 to go up 1 row or do a chainless double crochet, and you keep going 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in each corner, and then 3 double crochets in the chain 1 spaces. And that's really it for the classic granny square. So now that we're at the end, and let's say this is the size that I want my square to be, I will just cut my yarn and then weave in my ends. I have a weave in your ends tutorial that I will link to in the description as well. And that's it for the classic granny square. There are other options you can do with the granny square. So as you can see here, I'm using the granny stitch, which is the 3 double crochet clusters all together all the time. But then we have this option of a solid granny square. Instead of working in the spaces, we're working in the stitches themselves. So if I put those two together, you can see that this one is solid. There's like very minimal gaps that are gonna be at just the corners, because we still need our corners, we still need to chain 2. But instead of chaining 1 between the clusters, I'm actually working in all of the double crochets from the previous run, and that creates the solid granny square. There's also lace granny squares. This one's a little bit different. You see it has a lot of holes in it. This is what I usually use for like tops, because it's airy, it's summery. You don't want to use a solid one for that. If it's for the summer, if it's for the winter, it's fine, I think. But if it's for the summer, this is gonna be too warm. This would work for bags or blankets. You can create like an infinity granny square, which I have done before. I will insert the pictures somewhere here. An infinity one with the granny stitch, so it's not too hot. But this is for a top that I'm working on. We also have our floral granny square, which I have a tutorial for. You can check it out. This one is very beautiful. It's lacy and very colorful. And then there's also one more thing, which is you can change colors as much as you want working with the granny square. So in this specific square, I am working a solid granny square. As you can see, I only have holes in the corners, but I'm also changing colors every every row, basically. The best thing about changing colors is that you can just join in the corners instead of having to slip stitch to get to the corner. It's a lot easier. The worst thing about it is weaving in your ends, but I usually weave in my ends as I go, so I don't have to worry about that later. So yeah, there's like a lot of options you can do with granny squares. It's so versatile. As you can see here, there's a lot of shapes, definitely a lot more than just those 5. But it's very beautiful. You can make whatever you want with it. You can make tops, you can make blankets, you can make bags, actual bags out of granny squares. So it's so beautiful and it's very versatile, and it's one of the basic crochet tools to have in your toolkit, basically, if you're a crochet artist. And that's it for the classic granny square. I'm so proud of you for making it this far. Take a photo of yours and share it in the comments. I genuinely love seeing what you make. If you want to level up, go check out my floral granny square tutorial next. It uses the same skills and it looks absolutely beautiful. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and I will see you in the next one. Happy crocheting!